everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. If my voice goes out in the middle of this, Greg will be taking over for everything.
We're all screwed.
That too. But, yes, I've had a little bit of a cold, but today we have so much to talk about. We couldn't record last night, our normal time, because of the Super Bowl, and that was worth not recording through the Super Bowl, not because it was a good game, but because there was a Thunderbolts trailer. So we have Fantastic Four trailer, Thunderbolts trailer, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and we really should talk about if there's any last second things we want to talk about with Captain America Brave New World, since we're going to be seeing that on Friday. So, with all of that on our plate, let's get started and start rambling like the drunk person who thinks that the refs are still going to help the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. I'm your co-host, Petter, and joining me, as always.
As always, everybody, it is Greg, and I have absolutely nothing to say about the Super Bowl because it was that boring.
Yes, it
And
was.
honestly, for refs wise, that was the easiest cakewalk for refing probably you could get in a Super Bowl,
Yes.
right? They just made a ton of money. Good for them.
Yep.
Uh, for one of the easiest games. So
Yes.
we were playing some square, like we were playing some bingo, and
Yep.
one of them was like an instant replay, and that was what I needed to win, and it never happened.
It's
Like there was no
true.
like,
There were no reviews.
I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. Nope, nothing. Anyways, back to 10 Minute Marvel, everybody. We're
Yes.
looking for, if you're looking for ways to support us, you can find us on your YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel. I did it again. Our YouTube channel. Search 10 Minute Marvel there. Give us a like and thumb smash that subscribe button. That always helps us.
Yes.
On the socials, find and follow us on Facebook and X. I like to call Twix. Hashtag 10 Minute Marvel there. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. Back to you, Petter. Let's do this. We got
Yes.
lots to cover. Lots.
So let's kick it off with the rumors here because, I mean, two of the news things could be our main topic for today. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. Um, First off, Tom Glynn Carney has met with Marvel about a role. He's in House of the Dragons or House of Dragon. I don't know what that show's called. I haven't watched it. Um, so I'm not familiar with him as an actor.
Dragon Wars.
Yeah,
Who
Kid
knows?
Kaiju. No, I think
Okay.
he's a little bit old to play Kid Kaiju.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got the abs for it, though. I don't know.
Then Jack Champion is apparently being considered for Cyclops. This comes from My Time to Shine Hello. Trying to remember what he has been in. Another, but I do like to see that we're getting a lot of not household names here.
Yeah. I thought there was a different guy for that. Didn't you say
Oh,
something
there,
last week?
yes. So Jack Champion has was in Avatar: Way of Water, Scream 6. He's going to be in Avatar: Fire and Ash and Avatar 4 apparently, and
Was
Avatar 5 and Avatar 6. Okay, he's going to be in every Avatar until he's older than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, the kid could probably just do that the rest of his life and he's gonna be set, I'm sure.
hmm
Did he do some with Paul Rudd? I'm seeing a picture of him and Paul Rudd.
Not knowing who the actors are for some of these movies, I can't tell you.
Hmm.
But we do have. I,
Wait, was he in
so
Avengers Endgame?
was he?
As who?
Must have just
That's
been a kid somewhere because I mean that he's 20, so he would have been, according to Greg's math, somewhere
hmm
between 8 and 45 when Avengers Endgame came out.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Jack Champion, Avengers Endgame. Look up the image.
Kid on bike? Is that
Oh yeah, he's Kid on Bike. I think that is in San
oh
Francisco
when he's
when
walking with the wagon and the kid
yeah,
on the bike passes him by?
yep. And he's look he Paul Rudd is yeah, trying to find figure out if Cassie's still alive.
Wow. That's
Yep.
that's cool.
Marvel likes to reuse their actors for
Yeah.
like even huge roles like that, they're willing to double dip. It's shocking.
I think, but I feel like this is kind of also what they do, right? They get a pool of actors interested or kind of on board, and then they kind of divide them out to wherever they feel like will fit best. So it's like they kind of like do a screening process and they're like, okay, well, I like this one for this.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure that maybe he just whoever when he was filming Endgame, Jack Champion, he must have maybe made a good impression and
Yeah. I mean,
so
I'm sure it's more what he's been in recently with like Avatar Way of Water,
fair.
where
Yeah,
he's a little bit older because uh, doing the math, actual math here,
not
not
Greg
girl
math.
math. Yeah.
Girl math.
Greg math,
I don't know if
yes.
I should take offense to that or stand up for women. I don't know.
uh, he would have been, well, that's about 8 years ago. So he would have been like 12 in that.
Yeah.
So,
Either he's got great social skills or great acting talent,
yeah,
or both, maybe. Who knows?
yes. Um,
All right, onward.
but a couple more potential castings or actors for roles. Julia Butters, rumored as a possible Kitty Pryde. And yes, that is a
Butters.
real name.
I just think of South Park.
Yep.
Butters.
So she's a young actor. I want to say if I could type in the name. Yeah, she's 15. So the that would be if they go real young with the X-Men to have her in there because by the time, well, the rumor is they're going to be filming X-Men, the first X-Men movie next year to come
Hmm.
out in 2027. She'd be 16 at that
Yeah.
point in time, which I mean, that's better than having all the students at Xavier's School for Gifted Children look like they're in their 20s and should be going to the same high school as Peter Parker from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies.
It's all just Degrassi Junior High, man. It's like,
Yeah.
or 21 Jump Street. Everybody is
Yeah.
like 25 playing a role of a 16-year-old. Um, so what do we got? So like roughly age-wise, people that
So
we've heard of possibly kind of getting
so
probed for roles.
high end I think was like 35. One of the potential actors for Cyclops
Yep, that was last
and
week's Cyclops. Yeah.
yeah, and
That's
then
his name from
15.
now on. Last week's
Yes.
Cyclops.
Yeah, and then 15 is the youngest.
So what do you think they're doing here? Like, is it
I've heard that I think this was from Daniel RPK, that they're looking to cast kind of in that 20s to 30s.
so Kitty Pryde is pretty young
She'd be
here.
very young. This is kind of the next generation, or she'll grow into the team.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I mean, keep going on that, but we got too much news. There's too much
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
So
Rumors, whatever.
then, Javier Bardem, rumored for Mr. Sinister.
This is the only person that I am okay with besides Henry Cavill. Just for all you people that were listening a few podcasts back or 10 podcasts back. Yeah, I really like this actually.
Yeah.
He's
I could
creepy.
be yeah, he
Can
would
be.
do a good job being creepy for that. So I I like it quite well.
Mhm.
I still kind of like Ryan Gosling as Mr. Sinister.
I don't hate it. I just can't picture him in like jet black hair and it looking
Yeah.
okay.
I
So it'll
mean,
look like
he
a
went
wig.
super bleach blonde for Ken.
Yeah, that it works in that direction, just not the opposite direction. I feel like we're gonna have another Doctor Strange Benedict Cumberbatch bad wig situation.
Yeah.
Hate that wig.
So then I did mention this rumor. So actually, I think I attributed it to Daniel RPK. Part of it is to Daniel RPK. Part of it too is the Insnider. But X-Men movie filming next year, with then that being released after Secret Wars. So in 2027, which would be a tight, like that would be something big to something big.
Yeah. Do you feel like is it gonna kind of bleed into the next phase? Like I feel like, because Secret Wars, I feel like that's the cutoff.
Yep.
And then to move into, I mean, maybe it's just going to be a simple X-Men, like they'll slide into that nice and easy
Yeah.
versus
Well,
anything else.
yeah, this is the Daniel RPK part too. It says it's not going to be an origin story again,
Hmm.
which I'm fine with. Like, I like the fact that Marvel has
Yeah.
moved away from doing origin stories for all the characters. Like,
Yeah. Oh
Fantastic
yeah.
Four, not going to be an origin.
You get some, but it's not nearly
But
as heavy
yeah,
as what it. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I think they just have to at this point.
yeah.
I think
And
there's
well,
you got the people that are on board that are on board, and
yep,
those other ones will catch up or have to.
yep. And then, well, I look at it too as with it that we're probably going to be introduced to some of these characters in Secret Wars anyway. And so they may be established X-Men characters in their own universe, much like the Fantastic Four. We'll talk about that trailer coming up here very shortly. But the Fantastic Four are established heroes in their universe. And so, yeah, you get the flashback to the origin, but there's no, oh, we're experimenting with our powers, figuring out how they work, and figuring out how much we like it or not. That's
Yeah,
going to be taken care of already.
yeah.
Um, then Ryan Coogler is apparently interested in doing a Black Panther 3 that is a bit more of maybe like a horror, supernatural, or thriller sort of movie.
Okay. I know that's kind of his jam right now, it seems
Yeah,
like. But and I'm sure it'll be great.
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, I think there's some, like, you could lean into the mysticism of the ancestral plane and stuff with that a little bit more. I know that there's an arc in the comics where T'Challa really does get like the full um contingency of his family's spirit and legacy kind of behind him in a more tangible, spooky factor form. I'm not sure. No, that's not quite right, but it is. There's elements where it's more heavily intertwined
Hmm.
between the material and the ancestral plane. So I could see leaning into that.
Okay.
Even get back like Michael B. Jordan again and have it almost be a battle for the ancestral plane and like chipping the balance of power there, especially if they have like a good creepy villain.
Hmm. Yeah. A little bit different territory there.
Yeah.
Be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of the supernatural side of things, the Hood is going to return after Ironheart as well. This comes from the Cosmic Circus. It makes sense. He doesn't seem like a one-off villain.
So I'm reading something right when you yeah, I would it doesn't seem like a one-up. I don't know. And I don't like it. Oh man, I'm blanking on the
John
uh
Malkovich,
yeah, no, close. Real very close.
Anthony Ramos,
No.
actor,
Uh Guardians 3. Who is the villain?
High Evolutionary.
Yeah, thank you. Like that is a villain to me that should we should see him again. I
Yes.
don't, right? And so the Hood kind of feels in that same realm,
Yep.
that same thing. Yeah, I don't like it to be a one and done
Yep.
necessarily. So like Modoc is fine, but like
Yes.
he's such a
So
dick.
then the final rumor is that post Secret Wars, Sony is thinking about relaunching their live action universe, like relaunching, rebooting their live action universe with Miles Morales. And I
Of
say
course.
nay, don't do that, Sony. Don't ruin a good character. They
I
will,
mean,
but
there, I was like, you can wish in one hand, right?
mhm,
I just feel like, yeah, it's about money, and then they know it.
yep,
It'll bring it in,
they'll bring it in for
and
at least a movie.
yep. So I guess just Sony, just oh God, just get some help. Ask
Yes,
some people. I don't
ask
know.
anybody.
Yeah,
You actually ask fewer people. Get every bigwig Sony person out of that room and give it to a director who can handle it and just let them do their thing.
yeah. I mean, even into the Spider-Verse, like I don't know, pull some of those people in for God's sakes.
Yeah. So, next up on the news side, uh, Disney and Marvel took home a couple wins at the Critics' Choice Awards, where X-Men 97 won for Best Animated Series, and Deadpool and Wolverine tied for Best Comedy.
I didn't check to see what do they tie with.
Um, I don't remember. I did hear, uh, here we go. It tied with.
Drum roll.
None of the things are actually telling me anything.
The Brutalist.
Oh,
I have no.
a real pain
The Michael, no,
Jesse,
not Michael. Yeah, Jesse
yeah,
Jesse
Jesse
Eisen
Eisenberg, directed, starred
and
movie with
Kieran Culkin.
yeah, Kieran Culkin.
Yep. Okay.
I
Cool.
hadn't really heard of it before, but
I've heard a little bit. Yeah. Um, Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
I mean, way to go, Marvel.
yeah. Then a couple pieces for the Vision show. Um, oh, and also confirmation that in March Marvel is going to start filming Doomsday, but
Hmm.
talking about the Vision show, which is also supposed to start filming around then, made me think of that. But I'm going to butcher this name. Rund Malika from he's been in the franchise, is joined the cast of Vision as Tucker.
Rarid.
Rar
Rarid.
Rarid.
Rarid?
I c-
Man, I don't know.
yeah,
We're
my
bound to
screen
get it
is
somewhere in
small.
there between us
Yeah.
all. Tucker. Oh yeah, okay. We
And so Tucker's not really, from what I remember, like reading the Visions comic book line. I don't remember there being a Tucker in there, which I feel like this is going to pull some from that kind of story. But so it'll be interesting to see if it actually is Tucker. Could it be a Tommy when all is said and done, or who knows? Or is it
yeah.
going to be Tucker? Is it the character that I think we had talked about it on text a little bit. I was like, could maybe be like the boy who who befriends Viv, when Viv and Vin go to start going to high school to be like normal
Yeah.
teens.
So
So,
if it's not like a what would you call that? They're trying to mask the Tommy name. Is that a pseudonym? It's not a pseudonym. It sounded,
yeah,
is that right? Would that be right?
yeah,
A pseudonym? If it's not that, then I have a feeling it's going to be a character of that nature. It's a friend. It's kind of that side character, not a supporting character so much,
yeah.
but you know, so
Probably the one who treats them like the most normal.
right.
But we also have directors for the Vision show: Terry Matalas, Christopher J. Byrne, and Vincenzo Natali.
I think I was looking this up while I was waiting for sorry, us to get this started. I was trying to see what some of those guys are in. Did you
Yeah,
happen to see that?
I mean, I know Terry Matalas because he's the showrunner as well. So,
Star Trek Picard, right?
yep. Byrne apparently has done 4 episodes of Star Trek Discovery and 1 episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, a couple episodes of American Gods, and then
Natalia did Cube. She did directing some of the sci-fi
oh,
horror film Cube.
yeah, ooh, that actually I like where they're going with this, where it's like these sci-fi
Hmm.
directors for it, and so many of the sci-fi things do have like that little bit of horror or unsettling nature, like being able to look at something that kind of feels like reality, but through a sci-fi lens.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes. All right. Now to our four-part main topic here. Let's start with Thunderbolts trailer. Came
Okay.
out yesterday during the Super Bowl. Second trailer for Thunderbolts, and uh, I, I liked that trailer quite well. I liked how they really leaned into the human aspect of the characters a fair amount.
Hmm.
That first trailer we saw was a lot of well, some jokes and a lot of like, who are you? And
Yeah,
this
it was
one
almost
felt like
like
we got a team here,
yeah,
kind
because
of.
the first one felt like, are they just gonna be pitted against each other? I think we kind of thought about that,
Hmm.
and then maybe come around later to work
Yep.
with each other. Was it gonna be they're trying to save
Bob.
Bob, And so yeah, that first trailer and the first couple is was a little bit more of like, hey, this is gonna be kind of a ragtag group put together and
Yep.
trying to figure out this how they're being played. And this trailer, it
They're
put a
still a
different
ragtag. Yeah.
totally, right? But they put this little extra spin on it that says these characters have there's something else to them
Yep.
and they're up against a bigger threat.
Yes. And like I was talking about it, so I did my you can check out on 10 Minute Marvel YouTube. I did a video, just some thoughts and impressions on it, and I still expect Val is going to be kind of the villain of this piece. Like it's through some CIA something or another that Sentry is even created, or that the Void, which the trailer definitely seems to, because imply that we're going to be getting the Void in here. I don't know that we've actually seen Sentry yet,
Oh,
because
yeah.
uh, I do like what they did with the trailer. Every shot of Bob the Void Sentry was Bob was backlit, so it was always just kind of a black shadow. Does that mean that he's always the Void in this? Possibly, but they could also be nicely holding back kind of that reveal of the costume too.
Yeah, which I'm glad they did.
Yes.
Do you feel like I know we had talked about we didn't really want too much
Yep.
Sentry. Do you feel like it was a little too much?
A little bit too much. I watched the Real Rejects reaction video to it,
Hmm.
and they did make a very good point. This trailer feels like, and I'm sure Marvel intentionally did this because it aired during the Super Bowl, or the tease for the trailer, and then go check it out online.
Yep.
Aired during the Super Bowl. It felt like it was tailored to more of an action movie audience versus a superhero movie audience.
Hmm.
It's like we have this ragtag band, they're going to be facing off against this insurmountable threat sort of
Yeah.
thing, and it was shot. They called out kind of some of the coloring and like the tones used for it.
Yeah.
Feels kind of like the boys they were saying,
Gritty. A
and
little more
yeah,
gritty. Yeah.
yeah. And so I was like, yep, that makes sense. And it makes sense why they put so much of the Void slash Sentry slash Bob in there then.
Yeah. I was when I first saw it, I was just like when you just see people disappear into like a shadow, I was like
Yep,
at first I just it took me off guard. I'm like, what in the heck is that?
yep,
And then after thinking about it a little bit, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's where I got really excited because I didn't
yes,
expect this to be such a threat, I feel like. And I just feel like it's you're trying to not work with somebody, you're trying to protect people from somebody who is really kind of out of control.
yeah, yep. And that's why I think Val is still the actual villain of this piece, that she somehow has set, or what, like the experiments that the CIA have done on Bob is kind of what pushes it over the edge and pushes him into the form of the void.
Yeah. It- I definitely think I don't know whether Val is the reason for it or if I
And
don't know where Val's going to end up. I feel like she's got it's a very wishy-washy character. I can't tell whether she's trying to
she wants power. Like
yeah,
that's very much what that character is on. And if she thinks she can get and control the most powerful hero in Century, it makes sense that she would try.
how does she do that though? Like how does she use the Thunderbolts to do that?
Right. Or is she using, or does she get a hold of Century first and then things go sideways? And so she's trying to use the Thunderbolts to clean up her mess.
Right.
Is
So like she's worried or feels threatened by the
Yep.
Sentry. So she's got this team. She's like, I don't know, I'm just gonna use these guys trying to kill this
Yep.
invincible person, right? No pun intended exactly there. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. It was good. I was happy with the trailer. I am now like about three notches up as far as the excitement meter
Yep.
goes. Like it's notched up a little bit more for me.
Yes.
So good job on the trailer, Marvel. I think you just got a lot more people on board, honestly.
Yes. Yep. Though I think more people were on board with that one than were with Captain America Brave New
Yeah.
World. Just because I mean, there's several reasons for it, but one of it being like, okay. It's hard to know though, because I think with David Harbour in Thunderbolts, with Bucky in Thunderbolts, it's an actor people like, it's a character people like, versus, I mean, Sam Wilson people generally like, but there's obviously a certain contingent who have a opinion based off of stuff not understanding the
Hmm.
source material.
Yeah. So tell me, how are you, if you were to have both movies, Thunderbolts and Captain America, come out this Friday, which one of them obviously is,
Yeah,
which one are you more excited for?
Thunderbolts.
Like by how much?
Um, by a decent bit, but that also has to take into my history of my opinion of the Captain America films in general. Because
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Captain America films in general. So it's like, yeah, Thunderbolts, especially because of actors in there.
Hmm.
Like Yelena, Florence Pugh, and David Harbour are just so good, and as like Wyatt Russell
Yeah.
is
I'm looking forward to
so
him.
good
Yeah.
in that role. It's like you like to hate him because he's
I
so good.
I hope they don't change that. I hope
Yeah,
that I still like kind of loathe him, but also
hmm.
feel very
You
sorry
pity
for
for him.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, so here's a question then. Let's start
yeah,
talking about the characters. What is going to happen with Taskmaster? Like, I feel like Taskmaster's in like as they cut to each person, and kind of name them.
yep.
You see Master in there, but
You don't
you
see
don't
her. Yeah,
anywhere else. So like, I don't know. Is it something I just feel obligated to do now? And will she be the first one to go kind of thing? I don't know. I'm curious about that.
yeah.
Um, and I'm not going to feel bad at really if if they do, kind
Offer.
of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
I think there's a chance too that she maybe is the one who's actually like loyal to Val. Like she is looking for that person to
yeah.
give her kind of her commands,
Hmm.
and Val just gladly steps into that role.
Yeah. That,
And
that
so
kind of
that
makes
might
sense.
be why we see her less and she'll come around towards the end of the film.
Yeah. Or Sentry
Or
just
not. Yeah.
completely destroys her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then let's talk about that other trailer as well. The one that we were like, oh, that's coming sooner than we thought. Fantastic Four. And that was a wonderful first trailer.
Hmm.
I thought it didn't blow me away, but it really set a, a tone that I'm glad they set so that people understand what the movie's about.
And now this trailer was the same one that they released Tuesday,
There was no Super Bowl trailer.
right? Like
It was the
wait,
Tuesday.
was there?
No, there
Did it
was,
show up at all? Because I'm
it
like,
did
I
not
think I
show
might
up
have
at
missed
all.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
this
this is
was,
the Tuesday one where it
yeah,
was 7 something in the morning
yep,
and you and I are texting back and forth and YouTube had something up for a while and that was cool. I was
yeah,
kind of excited about it and then the interview happened and I was like, this is absolutely stupid.
yeah.
Why would you bring these people out?
That was a rough interview.
Yeah,
Well,
it was terrible.
it was bad questions. Well, it was supposed to be punny, funny questions, and it just didn't land.
Yeah. The trailer itself, though, I
Yeah,
really like the look of it. Um, I I'm okay with it not giving out too much.
yep,
I was more just kind of interested in the feel of it, and
yep.
yeah.
Like I
So,
said, yeah, like I said, it didn't blow me away because it didn't give out too much. We see the back of Galactus, and just as a reminder, Galactus is a giant space entity that can adjust size and takes the form that he takes because that's how other species can comprehend the Devourer of Worlds.
mhm.
Because I know that was a complaint. It's like, oh, this isn't big enough. It's like, well, again, Galactus is buried under the ground. Like a future Galactus gets buried on Earth in a Fantastic Four comic. So how can you do that if Galactus is bigger than the Earth?
And he can change his size
Yes,
technically.
he can change his
So,
size. So
you know,
yeah, but
it's
I,
okay. It's okay,
yeah,
people.
yes, people are looking for stuff to complain about. But I really liked how it set that tone for Reed being like obsessive about trying to find solutions. Like he's clearly working to try and figure out how to undo what he's done because that's what he does in the comics as well. That's his biggest regret is that, well, they all got superpowers. Ben's changed him so much, and they can't undo that. That's why the Fantastic Four came out as superheroes the way that they did and were so public about it is because Ben couldn't hide it. But then it also, like the trailer, really leaned into kind of this grounding element of family too, and how Sue is going to be kind of this grounding element to what's going on.
Yeah, I love how she states Ben has always been the rock, right? Like
Yep.
it talks, it's very rooted in how they all are as a person and as a family. And
Yes.
it almost makes me kind of makes me feel like Johnny Storm is kind of like this, obviously the wild child, the
Yep.
the kind of the pain in the ass kind of kid, kind of role, which I also wasn't a big fan of the hair. I don't know what my thing is with hair and wigs, but that did not go well with me. Uh, but going back to, I really like the message that they're trying
Yep.
to portray as far as what this movie is about. The core of it is them as a family. So,
Yes.
um, I think that sounds great. I was watching for Mr. Fantastic to see him stretch.
Yep.
I'm okay it didn't happen. I'm sure we'll see it one of the last trailers that gets released,
Yeah.
right? What's his name? Um
John Malkovich?
yeah, I was just seeing if
Yes.
you were
Yep.
catching that one. Yeah, I'm curious to see what his thing is, right?
Yep.
So,
Because they're definitely Red Ghost is a popular theory. Um, I did see somebody share an image of a comic where it was like an old Tony Stark had a very similar facial hair look to it, like an old time traveling Tony Stark or something like that. I'm
hmm,
not familiar with the comic that it was from, but I don't think they're going to bring in a different Tony Stark.
yeah,
Not
no,
especially not if they're going to bring in RDJ as
yeah,
Doom
yeah,
in any of
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. And I did a video on a couple videos on the trailer and then one on what I thought the trailer might be and like other clues as to what might be the story for this. So that YouTube video is out there if you want to check that out. And we'll talk about our thoughts on what we think that story is going to be in the probably the week leading up to Fantastic Four. And I'm sure we'll have more information and well, we'll have more information because we'll have more trailers by then.
Hmm. Yep.
So,
Uh,
moving to the main topic, or do you have anything else on that trailer?
um, nope, I don't think I do. I think let's move on. We got
Yeah,
lots more to cover, and I have
only so much time left before
only
your
so
computer
much time.
restarts. Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh, dang it. So,
Yes. So then let's talk your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. 3 episodes last week, and if we don't get to Captain America Brave New World before Greg's computer crashes, then so be it. And so we got 3 episodes of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man this week. Well, this past week. I guess now we're only a couple days away from 3 more episodes, but we had episode 3, Identity Crisis, episode 4, Hitting the Big Time, and episode 5, The Unicorn Unleashed. Let's do quick non-spoiler thoughts.
okay, better than first two episodes, and they were good. They're entertaining. I
Yep,
don't, I'm that's kind of about where I'm at with this show. I think it's entertaining, it's fun, it's funny.
yep,
It's got a little heart to it, and these episodes notched up a level, which I expected as well.
yeah.
So I was happy with them.
Yeah, I think there's in particular one character's storyline took a step forward in a big way
Hmm.
that I will say that's relatively close to what I predicted.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where we stood on some of these, on
Yeah,
how I think.
but we'll talk about that
Yeah,
more
yeah,
coming up here.
yeah. Yep.
I'm with you. I think that I don't know that it's not a big step up. It's just like a little bit of a step forward of okay, now I know a little bit more of some of the plot
Hmm.
points or like one of the big story arcs that's going to be happening through this season and that's fun to be seeing that, but I think there were elements of the first two episodes that I was like, okay, that's maybe more fun than some of these episodes, but at the same time, there were like good reveals and fun things in this as well.
Yeah. I'm it's about on par so far with what I was expecting
Yep.
out of this show, right? Um,
I think it's like slightly more fun than I was expecting, but the plot, like depth level, is what I expected for the show.
mhm. Yeah.
So let's move
Yeah.
into spoilers here. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You have been warned. Spoilers. Where do you want to start?
Ooh, I don't know. I guess there's maybe let's start with kind of our big character plot forward.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Or we could
Yes.
talk about some of the suits, start off simple.
Let's start off with the suits.
Okay.
Why not? Let's because that was kind of a fun element of Norman just being. Oh, which reminds me, I skipped over that part of the news because I thought it would be fun to talk about here as well. But Norman being very into Spider-Man
Hmm.
and like, I want to help. I want to be your guy in the chair, but only as far as I can. Like, I obviously have my multi-billion-dollar corporation to run.
He wants to be the dude at the desk and run a billion-dollar corporation
Yep.
because I don't know. Obviously, he's got goals.
Yes.
So it is kind of fun. The excitement level he's got. I'm just kind of wondering, is this? I cannot tell whether he's playing like coy with all this yet. He's definitely kind of almost like a kid in the candy store right now with all these suits and I thought it was kind of funny, some of the first designs. It was cool. It was
Yeah.
some throwbacks to the comics, I think, even.
Yep.
But Hornet, what was it? Dust? Is that what it was called? No. There's Prodigy, Ricochet, maybe? I don't know. I was trying to remember. I know
Yeah.
Ricochet or Hornet and Prodigy are two of the naming of the suits, but it was fun. It was a fun little montage of how things, like trying to iron out what works and what doesn't. And yeah, it was cool.
Yep, that's kind of where I was at with it. Uh, that's actually why I don't think these episodes were a huge step up, is there was so much time spent on those suits.
Yeah,
It was
it seemed
like,
a little bit filler.
yeah, it was a funny montage, but it was a little bit long.
Yeah. Um,
But
is anything else in the suits? Like, I don't know if it was cool. It was fun to
yeah,
watch, but otherwise,
yeah.
you know,
No, nothing else really on the suits. I will toss in here that Coleman Domingo was did an interview recently, like the past few days, where he was like, "Yeah, Marvel did approach him about taking over for Jonathan Majors as Kang, but he was like, if I do a character, I want to do my own, like truly my own character, not be a
mm,
replacement for somebody."
yeah,
And he was like, I would love to do Norman Osborn in the main MCU. And like, of course, the traditional comments were out there
no,
on that. And it's like, he's doing a great job in this show. So I got no problem with
yeah.
him doing it.
He does not have to be a white dude. So
Nope,
just
there's
let it
nothing
go.
inherently white about him.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say actually the suit, the black and white suit, kind of.
Mhm.
Do you think they are purposely doing that because there's some association of the Future Foundation?
No,
Do you think that's just coincidence with Fantastic Four coming out? I mean, I'm not saying that's like direct tie, but like,
yeah.
is there going to
I think
be
that's
something else?
I think that's a coincidence, and like you can already tell that Harry and Peter are probably going to change it to the more classic colors at
Yeah,
some point in time because they're like, it's too like it's black and white, it's too boring.
I don't think it's going to be for a while though. I
Yeah,
think we're going to see maybe not Harry, Norman turn,
yeah,
and maybe Harry becomes the dude in the chair, and then
which he is at this point.
yeah, uh,
But yeah,
maybe that's when they pull in the real authentic suit.
yeah,
So
they make a suit that Norman can't hack,
yeah.
basically.
What I will say that the fight scene that happened between I think it was Speed Demon and his girlfriend, which I don't remember what her name was.
Yeah,
He had the speed powers, I guess. It
yep,
was technically the mystery owner of the suit or the technology that
Yep.
I don't want to, I guess we'll get to that. It was a pretty cool fight scene. I thought
Yeah.
Peter having to go up against these two and amazing how fast they learn how to use these powers, but it is a cartoon, so there you go. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining. It was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, for the one of them who had the kind of the blades or whatever on her hands, it was like, okay, she just knows how to fight. Like they're scrappy people already.
Yeah.
And so she's just fighting basically normally, except she's enhanced.
Hmm.
The speed guy, I mean, I'm sure that they practiced some in a empty parking lot somewhere. And then you could tell that it's like, okay, he's fairly good at basic things.
Hmm.
And so I liked the fact that they weren't super proficient with it and they knew the limitations of it, of like, don't be next to each other because that might be a limitation of the technology or which they're probably given instructions on.
I was gonna say they
And
probably read the manual. Yeah.
yes, and most certainly they were like, "You're going way too fast. If I try and punch him and he ducks, like I'm just gonna clock you instead if you're
Hmm.
running at me." So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty cool. I think we mentioned this last week about the picture with Norman and
Yeah, or the other one.
no, the other one, people were thinking it was possibly T'Chaka, possibly
Yeah, Nelson
Nelson
Mandela.
Mandela. Uh, Jessica Clemens from New Rockstars had mentioned she said it was T'Challa. She didn't give a reason why she thought it was T'Challa, but maybe there was some clothing resemblance maybe
Yeah,
that they dug into. So I mean, I usually trust those guys with what they say and
yeah,
what they've discovered. So we may have a confirmation there on that,
yep.
which is cool. We got there's Wakanda's
Well,
somewhere out there.
yeah. I mean, he's if Osborn's one of the biggest tech people
Oh
in
yeah,
the world, it would make sense that he probably has made, well, obviously he's made some connections with
right.
Wakanda because of
Yeah,
Asha.
I was just gonna say that. So that would make total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how we didn't put two and two together last week is beyond me. So.
Yeah, but then yeah, should we talk about Lonnie Lincoln's journey?
Yes, yeah. It's I really I think this is the standout character so far
Yes.
for me. Story has got a lot of kind of brutal honesty to it, I
Yep.
think. And you feel for the kid. And the one thing I'm just not really sold on is when he starts kind of flipping the coin and and later on in some of the other episodes, like the episode 4 or 5 he starts to be like, okay, it's after the stabbing, right?
Yep.
He gets stabbed in the shoulder or the arm, and he kind of gets this nickname of Tombstone given to him by Big Don, and he's kind of like you see him be like, okay, all right, it's kind
Yep.
of cool. I'm like, God, do you really just not have any like you have morals and like an
Y-
ethical side that he just seems like to toss, but I know that I don't know. I needed them to give me more of a reason than just a name to make him feel better.
Well, I think they did though too in the fact that he's getting accepted into the gang. He and the gang is treating him like family and like we're gonna look after you. You're one of us now. And his home life, he has always been the person who has to look after his family, it
Sure.
seems like. And so I think it's like, oh, I have a group of people who are coming around me. Like, they don't just like me because I'm a awesome football player at the school or stuff like that. He's starting to feel a real connection, a kinship with these people because they're letting him in. And that's something that he hasn't had, which is what's leading him down the wrong path is it's like I can feel a connection to this. And I think we're going to see a juxtaposition of that where Peter's going to get led down the wrong path. And we've already kind of started to see him drift away from, we haven't seen Aunt May. Nico keeps something like, Peter, let's do stuff. Let's hang out. Why are you spending all your time over there? Don't forget about me.
Mhm.
sort of thing. And Peter's having that same drift kind of towards that power, towards that cool new group. And I think we're going to see that Peter has a better foundation of people who are going to try and pull him back than Lonnie did. And that's going to
Yeah,
be the big difference.
it's a good point. Kind of, I think just to even expand on that a little bit more, the pressure that Lonnie feels to
Yes,
protect his family, to be the one that maybe gets a full ride somewhere, goes to
full
college,
ride.
right?
Right.
He's got
Even,
that pressure, and he's finally they don't have a lot of money,
yep,
and so like I think for him to have somebody be able to protect him, to pay him, and to look out for him, and not to be the one that has to look out for everybody else, that is
yep,
relieving for him, and
yep.
that. So now I'm just walking back. I That does make sense. I'm glad we talked about this because now I feel much more comfortable with that.
Hmm.
So, good
Well, I
call.
think you kind of even get it from episode two, is it, when he volunteers to be Peter's uh lab partner?
Hmm.
And Peter thinks like, oh, he's just doing it, but it's like Lonnie has had plans upon plans of how to take care of his family. Like if football doesn't work out, and he's probably rightfully assuming that it won't, because how many college students go play pro? Very small
Hmm.
percentile. He's putting the effort into his education as well. He's not just putting all his eggs in one basket. And this this group, the 110th Street Gang,
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
is just very much like, but we got your back. Like we're gonna be looking out for you. That makes it even more kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it does. Because you understand his choice or
Yep.
choices, right? And you want him to succeed, but
Like not that way, man. Not that
yeah,
way.
go back the other way.
Yep.
So really well written character, I think.
Yep.
It's kind of refreshing as well
Hmm.
that they wrote him this way. And yeah, I think that's going to be some of the best stuff that we get
Yeah.
in these first whatever 9 episodes. Nine?
Yep. Nine
Yeah.
episodes. No.
Eight?
10.
10.
Because it's
Wait,
two,
two,
three,
three, and th
2, 3, 3, 2.
okay. Yeah, 10. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
So,
I wanted to ask you about another character because we got our first real like introduction to Harry.
mhm.
What do you think of that character and that take on Harry?
He definitely has that privileged side to him, which
Yep.
is kind of hairy yet very personable,
Hmm.
and but it's a
Which is also,
more yeah modern. It's more
yeah,
modernized. He's obviously like he's very much a social media
influencer.
influencer, which is interesting, and I despise those people. But then again, we are making this podcast kind
Yep.
of the same thing. Anyways, uh not we're not really a social media influencer, but anyways, I
Yes.
digress. Um I just had a little bit of a just a drift of thought there, like, wait a second, am I the people that I hate? Okay. Um the hell was I talking about?
But
That's really
just to
threw
kind of
me off.
how they're doing kind of a different modern
Oh,
take on
on
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it goes. It's weird how there's kind of like got Lonnie and Harry kind of doing similar things. Like they're very personable people, and then you're just waiting for them to kind of like break away and something changes them, right? And
Yep.
then Nico kind of will be the anchor for him, that person that's kind of maybe will be always there, but he's eventually he's going to lose some of his favorite people, right? So
Yes. Yep.
yeah, Harry's cool. He's not the standout person like Lonnie is right now, but I
No.
think it'll come around.
Yeah, and I do. I th He doesn't have the amount of story and really the depth of story yet, but in terms of developing a good Harry Osborn, I think they did a very good job with that. And
Yeah.
just this, it's easy to see why Peter likes him. It's also easy to see why he likes Peter too. Like he talks about it. I like that conversation of like, well, Peter's like, "Oh, homeschooling sounds great." And then it's just Harry's like, yeah, but I don't see anybody
Yeah,
ever. Like nobody my age. I'm
right.
like, okay,
So he has that. He doesn't get that connection like
yeah,
he would have if he was schooled at public school or
right,
something. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. Anything
talk
else in
about
Harry,
the
or I got
yeah.
some other notes.
Let's talk beyond that. Should we talk about the seller of the equipment?
Yeah, I was gonna say we can talk about some of the other like villains and kind of
Yeah,
cameos, if you will, that came in this one.
yeah.
Um, we have I'll just kind of list them off here because there's quite a few that I missed
Hmm.
first time through. We got so in the Unicorn Unleashed
Yep.
one, we've got that group of I don't know if they're I guess I don't want to say Russian. I have no idea what they
They're
technically are, but
yeah,
they're
Russian, Eastern European.
Eastern, yeah. Um, and out of that, we have the unicorn, which is
Yep.
cool. I thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of a brute,
Yep.
she's and true villainous kind of character, right? She's
Yes.
just kind of looking to get power and money and just beat the crap out of people. So, cool. But then I think we're gonna get Rhino out of the big dude.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. So Mila is the unicorn, and I don't remember the huge brute guy,
Yeah.
but I'm feeling like his story is going to come back around for as the rhino. That's just my thought on that. Um, and then I think the other guy, the bearded gentleman that was in that group, Dimitri, I
Yep.
think I think he's the chameleon.
Okay.
Uh, that was a find by Jessica Clemens, New Rockstars, because Dimitri is the chameleon's first name, and he had some gloves on, which is kind of a signature thing of the chameleon in a way
Okay.
when he's
Yep.
in his chameleon mode. So you got that. Back to the 110th Street Gang.
Yeah.
Bulldozer
Yeah.
is in that, which is from the Wrecking Crew,
Yep.
who's in She-Hulk. So
Yep.
there
Voiced
was a
by Ettore Ewan, um, who I know better as Big E, who was a professional wrestler. And so he
Big
is,
E.
yeah,
Huh.
he's a more modern professional wrestler. Got
Okay.
injured a couple of years ago and hasn't been wrestling since, but he is phenomenal,
I
and on the mic as well. So,
I stopped at about Captain Lou Albano, so I'm a little maybe behind where you guys are at in your
yeah.
wrestling era. So um
Yeah, so I'm looking up some of the other characters here. So Roxana Volkov, she was the other wild card character from that group.
oh yeah, I think she was kind of a new one. I don't think she had anything.
Like any history.
Yeah. Was there one, two, three, four? Yeah, there's just four of them, right?
Yep,
Um, some of the other villains have come out. We got like there's Scorpion, right? Scorpion will probably end up coming
yep.
back around. The Matt Goggin, I think is his name.
Gargan.
Gargan.
Yep.
Um, and then we obviously have the big guy who's behind a lot of the tech that we're running into,
Yes.
right? So Doc Ock, which that was a fun reveal for me. Like
Yeah.
when they would show that little symbol, that icon or symbol or whatever it was on the tech
Yep.
devices, I was like, "Who? What is that?" I was thinking Osborne, like I
I
think a
was
lot of
always
people
thinking
were.
Oscorp. Yeah.
Yeah. And then boom, out of nowhere, it's Doc Ock. And this Doc Ock is really good. I
Yes.
love his look. I love his glasses. I love his kind of just whiny attitude that he's got
Yep.
and arrogance. So really well played on that.
Yes.
His
Hugh Dancy.
assistant.
Yeah, Hugh
Oh,
Dancy
he
is the voice actor for Doc Ock.
Mm, very good. Yeah, he's doing phenomenal work there. Um, his assistant, who seems to touch Doc Ock a lot. I don't know if
Yeah.
Doc Ock realizes it, but it's really creepy, and I'm sure they've had a conversation about it. But uh,
I don't think there's
boundaries,
an HR
bubbles,
department there.
yeah. Vincent has a boundaries issue. Vincent Patillo, also known as Leapfrog.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a fun reference too. But I think I kind of wonder. They were talking a lot about on New Rockstars the long game with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
If he'll be, it's almost kind of like they're doing a little bit of the X-Men '97 thing where they're kind of introducing some characters, some villains, that just are for the long game. I
Hmm.
feel like that was kind of what X-Men 97 did. Or maybe that's
Ish.
just because they had so much characters in there that, they obviously had to time them out a little bit,
Yeah.
space them. So I kind of feel like that's what Doc Ock is going to be. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll see the continuation of him in next season.
I think that they'll bust Doc Ock, but instead of Doc Ock being like put away, Osborn's going to bring him in to Oscorp.
Hmm.
And that's where we start to, and then, so we may not get the Osborn turn this season, but we'll get that slow play of that turn then the following season
Do
with Doc Ock, with probably some of the other supervillains working with
Okay.
him.
Do you think his tentacle arms will show up next season then? Like, do you think he gets them from Oscorp, or do you think he makes them himself?
I think he'll make him
Well,
himself.
yeah, okay. Kind of feel the same way. But I don't think they're going to show up until
Last couple episodes.
maybe the last episode. If not, they just do it in season two.
Yeah.
So, um, what else?
Um, I mean, we covered the big things
Uh,
here.
there's one other thing that I didn't catch, but right away. But Cap, they talk about the Captain America dying 4 years ago.
Did they?
I I swear,
I don't remember that because they were talking Sokovia Accords.
yeah.
I don't I don't think they did.
I might have to come back around for next week on that one and make sure heard that correctly. I didn't get a chance to dig into that one, but I was wondering if you maybe caught it.
No,
And
I don't
then,
remember anything like that
okay,
because I feel like that would have been around the Sokovia Accords.
yeah, and then he hasn't shown up, or he was
Yeah.
killed kind of back then.
No,
Um,
because the Sokovia Accords, I think they're happening now because
uh,
they're getting enacted now because Harry or not Harry, Norman is kind of like, okay, well I thought there was some conversation about that.
yeah, we're gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look it
Yeah.
up. Although I'm
But
still looking at, I'm still trying to look it up right now and see if I can get like a quick Google search and then it, like tells me. Don't give me an AI bot, please. Let's see. Yeah, I'll figure it out for next week. That was my homework.
yeah.
Um, all in all, I think if there's, I mean, kind of wrapping this portion up, I would say it was decent. Like
Yeah.
I'm, I'm not
It's
craving next. Like it's not something I'm like, I have to get to next to Wednesday. Kind of. Is it Wednesday?
yeah.
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 Um,
But I'm also like I look forward to it in the fact that it's such fun, like especially for we're in Minnesota, where February in Minnesota generally you're like I'm done with winter.
yeah.
And so it's fun to have a show that is just fun.
Escapism.
Yeah. Like this is a good like popcorn. You don't think about it heavily, but it still
Right.
has enough plot. It still has enough going on that it's not just fluff.
Yeah. Because I'm like heavy into Severance right now. And when I
Yeah.
watch that at night, my brain seems to need another half hour to like settle from watching
Yeah.
Severance. However, watching this, it's kind of fluff. It's like, it's fun. I can turn it off, roll over, and close my eyes and not
Yeah.
have to, to digest the head wound that Severance gives
Yeah.
you
Yep.
to think about. So,
Yeah.
love that show though.
So then let's talk real quick here about any last second predictions, theories, thoughts
Chiefs
on
win. Oh,
Captain
sorry.
America
No.
Brave New World. You were saying that there's
Um,
one potential spoiler floating around?
yeah. I I didn't want to I kind of have been just staying away ever since I saw that pop
Yeah.
up because if I recall the source, if it was MovieWeb, maybe I think I took a snapshot of it. Let me just verify that. I'm pretty sure it was MovieWeb. I'm not going to read it out loud, so nobody be concerned about having to turn off your the podcast or something like that. It was MovieWeb. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know how reliable that is, but
Yeah.
are you looking this up right now?
No.
Okay. Um, I'll just say that it would be kind of expected a little bit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't blow my mind exactly,
Yep.
but it would be like, okay, yep, that makes sense. We've kind of talked about it a little bit before, but um, I guess my thoughts leading into the movie is I just hope that it's cohesive
Yes.
and that I I don't know, they do justice to Bradley's character, and that they,
Yes.
I don't know, I just don't want it to be not cohesive. I think that's my biggest thing. I really want this to be good and to just be a movie. It doesn't need to be, you know, I'm trying to think of like a past movie. It doesn't need to blow me away
It doesn't
like
need the
in,
spectacle of an airport fight from Civil War. It doesn't
right?
need, like, it needs to have some of the levels of espionage, like who's who and what's really going on that we got from Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But it can maybe be done in a slightly more fun way,
Hmm.
like it was in Black Widow, if they
Right.
so desire. So it's like it needs to give us some things, but it doesn't have to. It just has to be a good first outing for Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Yeah, and I don't need it I want it to have its place in the overall arcing storyline, right? I want some of that in there. It doesn't have to be like a solid grounding of it and a launch point for things to come, but I definitely want it to be like the animanium is a big thing, right? And
Right. Yep.
like there's it matters, and I want it to be cohesive and um yeah.
Yeah. Like I want to see those moments of adamantium and then it like play out again in the future for whoever the next Wolverine is. There's a tie just in and it just like it will be that nod where it's like, yep, they good job. We confirmed that
Hmm.
information sort of thing. But I don't need any like multiversal stuff in this.
Right.
Like keep that out there. There's no reason for it with what we know about this
Yeah.
story.
It needs to be a
So,
good Captain America story, like you were
yeah,
saying. And I think I don't need to have Sam Wilson's Captain America. I don't need it to be proven to me that this is a good Captain
right.
America, but and I don't need it to be proven that Anthony Mackie can play the character. I just want it to be, I want it to overwhelm those naysayers and those people and solidify it for them that this is, it was a good move. It's a great role for Anthony Mackie, and I think I just want it to be good for all those
Yes.
reasons as well. So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yeah, it's like
yep,
I
and be
can't.
exciting. I want
Yeah.
to see some more of those, like some of the aerial stuff with,
Yes. Yeah.
like, right? I think it like the opening of Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Yep.
that seems like kind of what the direction they're doing there. And
Yeah.
so excited for more of that.
Yep. Yeah, same. Any post-credit scene ideas?
Hmm.
Is there anything that they've always kept it Captain America Brave New World followed by Thunderbolts?
Hmm.
So, is there anything that Captain America Brave New World is going to be setting up for Thunderbolts? I could see a Val post-credit scene.
Yeah, to lead in there a little bit.
Yeah. And doesn't
Um,
even have to lead in much, but just like her making contact with Ghost and giving Ghost an assignment. Because that's what we saw with Yelena. That's what we
mhm.
saw with John Walker in a lot of ways. So just like hand Ghost her assignment to go to wherever Bob's at.
Yeah, that would be kind of nice. I wouldn't mind just a nice kind of you're tiptoeing into the next movie that comes out, which is kind of cool. You
Yep.
know, they don't get many chances to do that, it seems like. So
Yep.
take the chance now. I was thinking, do they, I mean, it's kind of a Hulk-like movie.
We
So
see Ruffalo,
yeah, or something like maybe it does lead into some of the talks of what they've been hinting at with
World War
maybe
Hulk
World
of
War,
some
yeah,
sort.
World War
Yeah.
Hulk or something like that, that'd be kind of cool where it's definitely down the line. But so I like your idea. I also wouldn't mind just them doing something like that. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if I have any other amazing things to think about it
How
right there in
about
that.
uh how about end credit scene is Abomination teaching Red Hulk meditation at the uh retreat center.
Yeah, that does Todd show up? Just kidding. That'd be kind of funny too. It would be completely out of the tone of the movie, but
Yes.
or even God, have She-Hulk in there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be out of the tone of the movie too, though. So, um, I really want to. I don't want to sit here and think about it for too long because it's late. But I really want to think of some of the other
Yeah.
possibilities.
Yep. Well, maybe if Greg has time, he
I
will
know it's
do
coming.
he'll do a video on it.
There it is. There it is. All right. Well, that's all I got. It's Monday. It's late. I think we uh I think we covered a lot today.
Yes,
And
we did so much.
please comment. Like, give us some
Yes.
feedback. Give us your thoughts. Give us an idea of what these post credits or post credit could be.
Yeah.
I
I
think,
guess expected it's going to be one.
yeah.
So let us know your thoughts on that down in the comment section over on YouTube or uh, on X. Tweet them to me at the Scando or on Facebook. And with that, thank you so much for listening and bearing with us and my voice. And this coming out a day later, we really wanted to make sure we could cover that Thunderbolts trailer as part of this. And I was not back from my Super Bowl party until after 10, so there was no way we were going to get that recorded last night. But with that, again, we appreciate everybody who's listening and checking out the podcast. Greg gave a few ways you can help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Nerdologist. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Months of People's YouTube channel, 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel, and Nerdologist.com website. But with that, see you next time.
Ace with an asterisk.